everybody, it's Joe with Angel Creations. Welcome back to my channel. I do want to say this is part 2 of my cruise blog. But I do also want to say I got comments last night from some of you, and I really miss you. I really miss you, my angels. It's been way too long. Way too long. So let's get right into part 2. It's going to be a bit of a shocker. So I told you in part 1 about the wonderful few days that I had. We did a day in Miami. It was wonderful. And then we had 2 wonderful days on the ship. And, but then you heard that I was getting ill and I was taken to the infirmary by wheelchair. So a lot of you were suspecting, I didn't think you would do that, but a lot of you were suspecting food poisoning. And I am here to tell you it was not food poisoning. The food was terrible. I will never take another Carnival cruise. I will never, mark my words, never take another Carnival cruise. The food was horrible, but that's not what made me sick. Unfortunately, this is the only thing that we could not plan for. My doctor gave me a goodie bag with antibiotics and things just in case I got sick. Because I have lupus, 8 days is a long time to be away from your doctor. So he sent me with everything he could pre-think of to keep me well on this cruise. Even some steroid, a Medrol pack for sciatica, because the day or 2 days before I left, I saw the doctor and he gave me the goodie bag, and I said to him at that time, I'm experiencing a little bit of sciatica, which is not normal for me. I've had it years and years ago, but I've had back surgeries, 3 of them. So I don't really get that anymore. But I said, you know, I'm going to be doing so much walking. And he said, no problem. I'm going to give you a Medrol pack. Don't take it unless you absolutely have to, because it'll increase your sugar. You know all that. I said, absolutely. So, and it was weird because I thought, well, maybe I'm experiencing some sympathy pains because my bestie was having sciatica. And, but then, you know, I don't know how real that stuff is. So anyway, off I go, and I walk all over Miami, and I walk all over the cruise ship for 2 days with sciatica. And then the night comes and I have the shrimp cocktail. That night I start vomiting, and of course I think bad shrimp, right? You would too. You think, oh no, I had bad shrimp. So, of course, I thought it would go away. I spent 24 hours vomiting until I was so sick that I knew there was something way wrong. I was going down. I was experiencing very heavy, labored breathing. I was shivering so bad that my body just was so tense and tight from shivering. And of course, I could not stop vomiting to save my life. I just couldn't stop vomiting. So they bring me down to the infirmary. And at this point, there's no other choice. Everyone's saying, oh my God, you don't want to go to the infirmary. So much money. But at this point, my friends knew that I was not going to get better on my own, and there was no choice. So they take me down to the infirmary, and I was admitted, and they told me that I was in DKA. And if you don't know what DKA it is, diabetes ketoacidosis. It can be very fatal. I had that one time in my life and I almost died. I was in a coma for 3 days, and that was after my big back fusion. I had a big back fusion surgery. And at that point, they were giving me tons of steroids, and that's what put my body into DKA then. That was about 5 years ago, maybe 6. And I was in a coma for 3 days, and it was really, really a bad thing. So they said, you're in DKA, you have a UTI, which I had no idea I had. I had no symptoms that I recognized as a UTI. No burning, none of the normal symptoms. I had none of it. And and I was in tachycardia, which means my heart was fluttering out of control, which I didn't find that part out until later when I was more with it, but my father died of tachycardia. So when I found out I had been in tachycardia, that was really scary to me because my dad had died of tachycardia. And I was in sepsis because I think I might get this a little off, but I think your normal white blood count is supposed to be like 3,000. Mine was 20,000. My UTI, what happened was it was raging out of control, taking more and more over, and then of course my body just couldn't fight it. So I had a raging infection in my body that put me into DKA. So I had 4 fatal things. I was in a medical crisis. And I was just praying, dear Lord, please be with these doctors. Let them, know what to do. I knew when they told me I was in DKA, I knew I needed a very, very capable doctor because DKA is such a complex condition that you need to know how much dextrose to give and how much insulin and how fast to give it and how slow to give it and how to adjust if it's not working right. And my blood was coagulating faster than they could take it and spin it. They were putting holes all over my 2 arms. I'm still a little bruised and discolored, not bad now, but I still have puncture wounds, and I was they were punching holes in my arms like you wouldn't believe, and they would run it to the nurse's station, which was 10 feet. And they would yell, no good, and they would try to do more, and they were milking my veins. My friend said they were doing this to get the blood out. It was coagulating in my body faster than they could get it to spin, to test it. They told my best friend, Doreen, that according to my labs, I shouldn't be alive. My blood was black in color. It was black in color. It was really touch and go. I was in and out of it, mostly sleeping. I was wakeable. If you woke me up, I was wakeable. I remember looking into Dr. Franco, who I will never forget. I have a crush on him, a platonic crush on this doctor. He saved my life. He was the most amazing, amazing doctor I think that I may have ever had. I love my current doctor, don't get me wrong. Love you, Dr. B. But Dr. Franco was so caring, so loving and understanding, and he knew, he was concerned. He knew I was in bad shape, and he sat on my bed many times and held my hand. He was just amazing. And I remember looking into Dr. Franco's eyes at one point, and he was sitting on my bed. He was so caring and so concerned, and he would look me deep in the eye. You know, he would look deep into my soul. And I told him, I'm dying. I'm dying, Dr. Franco. I'm going home to heaven. And I was in a lot of pain. I was in so much pain. I don't know why DKA is so painful, but in 8 days of being in DKA, I lost 20 pounds of muscle. DKA eats your body. I don't really understand all of it, but your body is kicking in insulin and your stomach needs to eat something. I don't know. It's a really bad. I lost 20 pounds. Look at 20 pounds. It doesn't maybe look it, but I lost 20 pounds. I'll tell you my weight. I was 170 when I went on my cruise, and I am 150 now. So I was a sick little girl for sure. I was in so much pain, and I remember saying to Jesus, how did you bear the cross? I remember talking to him like, this is so painful. Not just the blood gas draws and all the times they tried to get my blood and my veins were collapsing, and they started looking at my neck, you know, and I was in pain from DKA, and obviously, I guess the UTI. I had stomach cramps and shivering and head to toe, just head to toe. My fever was 103 something. It's all in my medical records that they gave me. And I just thought, Jesus, how did you bear the cross? I don't know how you took the pain. And I remember hearing him say, that was my cross to bear. That was planned out, and I bared it because it was my cross to bear. And this is your cross you're bearing right now. And I'm with you. And I knew, as I know in my knower, I knew that moment because I instantly felt at peace. I was still in pain, but I instantly felt like me and me and Jesus just had a bonding moment, and he showed me that I had to get through this, and he was going to do it with me. And there were angels all around my bed. Angels, you can't see them in the pictures, but I could see them. I knew they were there. And I felt so at peace, and I started feeling like my brain was no longer functioning in a normal way. I knew I was somewhere, and I knew it was very serious, but I didn't understand things in my brain sense of the word. Like, my brain wasn't functioning normal. I was hearing people and seeing people, and I was understanding what people were saying to me, but I knew that I had slipped into like a different realm. I was just at peace, and I was just knowing, okay, I don't know what day it is. I don't know how many days I have left to do this, but I know it's going to be okay because I'm right here with Jesus, and all my angels are in this room. And now I just have to wait. I have to wait this out until we can get off this ship. In the meantime, the ship was so rocky. So rocky. It was rocky the whole time, which to me, and I'm no expert, okay? This was Carnival Magic, and it's an old ship, and in February it crashed into a dock somewhere, I forget where, and they patched it up and repainted it. And I'm here to tell you that I've been on enough cruises to know you're not supposed to feel that. If you're in a storm, you're going to feel it, okay? There's no getting around that. If you get a storm, you're going to feel a little rocky. But for the most part, they put those stabilizers down, and you should not feel it. Either the stabilizers were broken on this ship, because we had smooth water and we were rocking. So you have to realize, I first started vomiting thinking, well, maybe I have seasickness. I don't normally get that, but it's rocky. Maybe I'm experiencing seasickness. Then when I started the vomiting, I was vomiting the shrimp cocktail. So I thought, okay, bad shrimp. Still rocking. Worst thing ever for someone with an upset stomach. Back and forth. And I'm laying down. Most of the time laying down, right? I'm not upright. So my stomach. So at this point now, we are in the infirmary, and I am going through very, very dangerous, sepsis. I have 5 bags of different things. I have antibiotics, I have potassium, I have 2 bags of fluids going in each arm. Just crisis. Terrible crisis in the middle of the ocean. I missed all 4 ports. I missed my whole cruise. But I'm on my cruise with 3 other friends who are now in a panic. I'm in all these crises, and I am, basically being kept alive by fluids, because every time they would stop the fluids and let me go back to my room, I would end up right back in the infirmary, throwing up again, and I would just crash if they took me off fluids. So at this point, my friends on the ship are in a total panic. My bestie is calling her daughter, and we had 1 person in our group that had internet, and it was so bad. She paid like $180, and it was so bad that we really had half the time we had internet, and the other half we didn't. My family is on land getting very little info, but not good updates at all, because the Wi-Fi was horrible. So everybody is getting bits and pieces on land. My daughter, my sister are in a panic. They're sick to their stomachs here at home. They're hearing terrible news. They're not hearing updates. They're not hearing good news at all. And then at one point, they were going to ambulance me off of the ship in St. Thomas. But it took so long for customs to do the paperwork that by the time they were ready to get me off the ship, we wouldn't have had enough time. So then the hospital, the infirmary, keeps me going, and they say, okay, we're going to get you off tomorrow in San Juan. That's another American port. We'll get you off. We'll make a plan. We'll start at 7 a.m. We'll get this all going. So they come and they want to, take me off the ship. And this lady comes from guest services, and she my best friend is crying, and she's saying, who's going off the ship with the patient? And my best friend who's crying is saying, I am. And she's yelling and saying, is there a better option? She can't handle it. And it was really bad. And she was yelling at my bestie saying, you're going to have to get a hotel and stay in a hotel. And my best friend goes, no, I'm going to go to the hospital with her. And the lady goes, no, you can't go to the hospital with her. You'll have to take a taxi to the hospital. And my poor friend has never even had a vacation. Okay? My bestie's never been on a vacation, never mind out of the country. Never mind on a cruise. So I'm just barely with it enough to hear all this yelling and say, I refuse to get off the ship. I can't have my best friend in a foreign country, in a hotel that no one speaks the language, all by herself, having to take a taxi. I wouldn't do that. No, I refuse to get off the ship. I will die here. That's what I said. I am going to die here. Just leave me to die. I was at peace. I was at total peace with that. I knew I was with Jesus. I knew we were either going to get better or we were going to go to heaven. And I was at peace. And that lady from guest services, I don't have her name. I have all my medical records, but I will get her name. She was terrible. Guest services in general was horrible on the Carnival Magic. I am not going ever to go on another Carnival cruise ship. The food was terrible. The entertainment was lacking. It was bad, okay? I could rage about so many things, and that's 2 days of my experience. At one point, the infirmary had let me go back to my room, and I had crashed again. But they said, go back and eat, get room service, and get berries and bananas. You need the potassium. You couldn't get a banana after the second day of the ship. You couldn't find a banana. Berries, forget it. They would take one strawberry, slice it in half, and I am not exaggerating, as God is my witness. They would take a strawberry, slice that strawberry in half, and then they would sliver that strawberry half into little pieces, and you might get 2 pieces of sliver on a fruit plate that had cantaloupe and honeydew melon as hard as a rock. And if you were lucky, you'd get 2 red grapes. Sometimes I got 3 red grapes. Banana, you couldn't find a banana after day 2. So I tell my doctor at this point, I am going to die. Okay, I'm dying. I could feel it. And I'm telling him I'm dying. My friends are all here in a panic. Nobody knows what to do, and my friend calls her daughter here, and prayers go up. My daughter puts prayer chains on. My bestie's daughter put prayer chains on Facebook. The ship was praying for me. Everybody, even the nurses and doctors, were rebuking Satan with us, and it just was, everybody was praying. And you know what? I remember sending my friends off to go have dinner or lunch, maybe. You know, time is a blur to me, but I remember sending them all away to go eat. I was not going to be going anywhere, so go do something, see a show, something. And they did. And all I can say is prayers went up. The doctor started changing his course of treatment on me. DKA is such a complex condition, and you just have to know. And so I don't know if it was, I know it was the Lord. I know the Lord told him how to do things. I know I was asking the Lord to be his hands and mine, and he changed my medicine. He changed the dextrose is all I remember, and different things. And I was supposed to go, so then that night I went, so my friends came back after their dinner, and I was sitting up and I was eating, I think, dry toast or something, and I was let go. I was feeling better. I was out of DKA. I wasn't feeling good, but I was no longer vomiting, and I could get off the drips again and go back to my room. And he said, I'm not even gonna have to go off the ship in San Juan the next day. You know, maybe I would even get better enough to maybe see our last port, which was going to be Grand Turks. So I thought, well, that's amazing, you know. So out of the infirmary I go, back to my room I go. That night, I got on my balcony, and I sat on my balcony and got fresh air and sunshine. And right over our balcony was a hot tub. And I could watch people going in and out of the hot tub, and I could see, you know, the ocean and all our things from there, you know. But I have notes I'm trying to follow here, and I'm really going off of them. But I didn't end up having to go off of the ship. Right, I'm now in now I'm in San Juan, and it's the next day. So he said, you know, you need to eat greens and chicken, you know. So I'm watching everything from my balcony, and my friends and I all get room service, and I order a salad with chicken, and I ate some chicken, and I ate some of my salad, just little bits and pieces, because I had no appetite, none at all. But I knew my body was kicking in insulin, so I had to feed it. So they had nothing on the ship for diabetics. That's one thing I have to say. What is the matter with Carnival? Like, give us some diabetic options. Do you know, if you had a room with about 100 people in it, 90 of those people would be diabetic? It's amazing in the world of America that there's so much diabetes, so much. It's because of the foods we eat. Anyway, nothing on the ship for diabetics, nothing. So I eat this salad, I stay on my balcony, and that night I tried to get dressed up and go to dinner. So my friend took the chair off our balcony, the table, I mean. We had a little metal table, and she put it in my shower, and we took our disinfectant wipes, she did, and cleaned it all up, and then she put a towel down on it. And I could sit in the shower because I was so weak, so weak, so weak, so weak. You have to remember, DKA was eating my muscle, and I didn't even know it. So I took a shower. It took everything I had out of me. I got dressed. I walked down to the dining room. Chips going like this. I'm sitting at the table in the dining room. There's nothing on the menu I'm interested in. Chips going like this. I'm shivering, freezing cold, can't quench my thirst. Drink water. Ice cold water. That's all I wanted. Ice cold water. Drink. Finally, I said, I have to go back to the room. And I was in a wheelchair at this point. So one of my friends, Linda, left the dining room at dinner and brought me back to the bed, to my room on the ship, and then went back to dinner. And I tried to get undressed. I had like a fancy top on and dress bottoms, and I managed to get my bottoms off, and I just went to bed. I still had my bra and my top on, and I just went to bed. So they all come back. They had a good night. They went and saw something, a show or something, and they all came back, and I was in bed, and then everybody went to bed early, and about midnight, that salad and chicken that had never digested, that was rocking in my stomach all day, started coming up. So here we go again. So from midnight to 1 o'clock, I vomit, and my friend and bestie, my roomie, says, "That's it, you're going back down." She called the infirmary, and they came up and did a house call, and it was Ron. Hi, Ron, my RN Ron. And he said, "You got it." He felt my pulse. I was tachycardia. I was heavy breathing. He said, "We got to go back down." So I go back down, and my normal doctor who was treating me, Dr. Franco, I love you, Dr. Franco, was off. It wasn't his night, and Dr. Nalia was on call. Another amazing, sweet doctor. Next thing I know, she's at my head saying, "Jill, you're back in DKA." And I'm like, "I am." So this time it was really, really, really bad. Again, I'm in DKA. 2 minutes after I got that news, Dr. Franco showed up in my room and said, I couldn't sleep. Something told me to come back down to the infirmary. It was his night off. But I know that the Lord wouldn't let him sleep because he knew I needed him. He and Dr. Nalia were going to have to work together on this. And that's when they were telling my friend that according to my labs, you know, I shouldn't even be alive. Now, in the meantime, my sister and my daughter get a emergent text saying, "Call ASAP. You have to call us ASAP." Well, they wake up to this text. And my poor sister thought I died. She got a text saying, "Call ASAP." And all she could think of is, I just lost my sister. Because she was supposed to get updates at 9 o'clock the night before, and either nobody did or somebody forgot, but it didn't go through, maybe with Wi-Fi, I don't know, but they did not get updates good, so she thought I died. Can you imagine the pain that she was in, my sister, thinking I had died? So prayers were working, and medicine was changing, and I was back in DKA, but that's because I was not on fluids. I needed fluids. I could not, my body still could not fight this infection. The infection was so, my white blood count was so high that my body could not fight the infection. So anytime I got off fluids and antibiotics and potassium, which hurts your arms so bad. If you've ever had potassium drips, they hurt, they burn so bad. My arms are still sore from all of the stuff. But anyway, eventually Ron came and got me. I'm back down in the infirmary, and my sister and my daughter are getting these messages to call ASAP, and they think I went, you know, they think I died. They were going through absolute hell at home because they didn't know what was going on in the infirmary with me. I was in no shape when I was well enough to go back to my room to hold a conversation. I wasn't. I was in bed the whole time if I was in my room, which wasn't very much. And, you know, they were just getting up bits and pieces of updates at home. I never left the infirmary again after the second DKA. I never saw my ship's room again. All my friends had to go and pack my stuff, and they all laughed and said they don't know how I pack because they could hardly get my stuff in my suitcases. And but I never saw that room again. I want to say hi to Wada. He was our room steward. He was awesome. He always kept me in ice. We were calling the room service for ice and water so often that eventually they just started bringing us bags of ice instead of ice buckets full. But you know, they charged me $18 a 12-pack for water, and that's robbery. Shame on you, Carnival. Shame on you. That's ridiculous. At least charge us what we buy our water for in the States, and you can get a 24-pack for way less. But we had to pay $18 a 12-pack, and we had to get probably 6, 7, 8 times we got 12 packs because I was drinking so much. I was dehydrated and still drinking that much. So I never saw my room again. My friends packed up all my luggage and brought it to the infirmary, and we had one last sea day, which I spent the whole time. I was now in ICU in the infirmary, and I was going to be taken off the ship by ambulance and taken to a hospital in Miami. So I just want now, I have got to say hi to all of my friends. They are my friends. I consider them friends. They're on my YouTube. They've become subscribers to my YouTube channel. I really got to know them well because I spent 6 days of my 8-day cruise with them, and I want to say hi to each and every one of them right now. I love you guys. I just love you. I want to say first hi to Dr. Kerwin Franco. He was so compassionate, such a beautiful soul. Sat on my bed, held my hand. At one point, he put my hair up in a ponytail while I was laying in bed, all sick, and he said, I want to refresh you. I'm wearing a scarf that I wanted to wear on my cruise, and never got the chance to, but he at one point put my hair in a ponytail. He brought me chamomile tea from his country of Colombia and had me sip tea. I was treated like a queen for 6 days. There was nothing on the ship for me to eat as a diabetic. We couldn't even get bananas after the second day. And one day, he just brought down a canvas bag, and he had a big knife and an apple and a yogurt for me. And I ate that whole yogurt. I couldn't get that on the ship. And I couldn't get he gave me a green Granny Smith apple, and he cut it all up for me in bite-sized pieces. He was amazing. Amazing. One point I couldn't eat. At one point before the yogurt and stuff, I couldn't eat. And he put a little piece of chocolate. It was a little square like that. And he put that in my mouth, and I'm a chocoholic, okay? But even that, I was like, I'll eat it. I'll eat it because my body needs the sugar, right? It needs some calories. Well, one of the friends that I was with, Linda, her husband works for Lindt. And Lindt is a Switzerland chocolate company. And she had brought me a bag of Lindt chocolate bunnies that had cream milk inside them. And I hadn't even touched them because I had been sick. I'm definitely not going to be eating candy. I couldn't eat anything at that point. So I had given this whole bag. The last time I went down in DKA, I had my friends get that candy and we gave it to them. I said, Dr. Franco, you gave me your chocolate. I want to give you my chocolate from my country. And it is my best friend Linda's husband is the secret keeper. He is the secret ingredient. He's in that department and he works for Lindt. So I have this whole bag. I want to give it. And he hugged me. I wish we had a picture of it. He hugged me for so long and so sweet, and all the nurses and doctors loved having that candy. It was just a bonding. We really got to know each other. So I want to say hi, Dr. Franco. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and for taking such good care of me. Thank you for your knowledge of DKA. And just for everything you did for me. I want to say hi to Dr. Nalia. You were amazing. You are such a sweet person. Again, you all such sweet souls, so caring and compassionate. Best bedside manner ever. It was just, I was so blessed to have you both as doctors during this experience. I will never forget you. I will never forget you. I want to say thank you to Nurse Ron, who came to my bedroom and did a room, like a house call, and knew I was sick and had to go back down. He went on the elevator and he put the key in and went right to the infirmary. Nobody could get on the elevator. I want to say, I am shocked at the number of people that will get on an elevator when you are throwing up, in a wheelchair throwing up, with a doctor, nurse, or infirmary person with you. I mean, first of all, give me a little bit of dignity, please. And second of all, if it were me, I would mark that elevator in my mind. I'd be like, there was a sick person in there. I am not going on that elevator for the whole cruise. I don't want to get sick. Right? Am I right? Like, I would be like, that is, somebody was very sick in that elevator. Let's not go on that one. But no, very selfish people just crammed in the elevator as I'm vomiting in a bucket. And my bestie, who's got a walker because her back hurt, they wouldn't even let her come with me. They squeezed in. And I'm like, wait, she doesn't know where we're going. I mean, it was... Anyway, I want to say hi to Nurse Cherry. Her name is Cherry. Her mother named her Cherry, but most people call her Sherry, she said. So I want to say hi to Nurse Cherry. Nurse Cherry, you were with me most of the time and so caring, so sweet. I love you too. You were just the best. I want to say hi to Nurse Melanie. You were the sweetest. You had the greatest little smile. You reminded me of me when I'm healthy. It was time to take pictures and you're like, oh, wait, I need my lipstick. And you just were me. You're bubbly and you had everybody laughing all the time. You just were amazing too. I want to say hi to Nurse. I'm not going to say this right. I'm probably going to butcher it. the Bezo, the Bizzo, T-H-A-B-I-S-O, the Bezo. I'm so sorry. You know who I am. You know who I'm referring to. You know I'm T-H-A-B-I-S-O. I was very sick. I didn't catch but I am so grateful for you and Nurse Tech Brian. Hello to all of you, Dr. Franco, Dr. Nalia, Nurse Ron, Nurse Cherry, Nurse Melanie, Nurse Thabizo, and Nurse Brian. You guys took good care of me for 6 days. You saved my life. I know it, you know it, God knows it, and, you know, just all the things that you did, during those 6 days. Some of it is a blur, and some of it is very crystal clear, I remember my friends, every time I opened my eyes, it seemed like they were there. Every time I would open my eyes, Dr. Franco would be there, and he would be just looking at me, staring at me, or sitting on my bed holding my hand. I can't thank my friends. I can't thank my family. I can't thank you guys. The ones of you that are on my Facebook, you know all of this already because you saw the prayers going up, and I had prayers from people from high school, from grammar school, from old employers, people I worked with in my past. Like, the prayers were, when I finally saw, well, let me just say, the prayers were working. They were out there, and I just felt it. I felt it, and every time I opened my eyes, there were people with me. I was never alone. When I was alone, I knew I had my angels and Jesus with me. I know Jesus was laying next to me in that bed, and he was helping me the whole time. My one friend Linda told me that my bestie Doreen, she's my roommate, never left my side. I did keep telling them, go, have fun, go do something. And they did to some degree. But for the most part, this whole trip was just a big, fat disappointment for all of them. All because of a UTI that I didn't even know I had. I thought I had sciatica. And I never did take the medicine for sciatica, so that's not what put me into DKA. What put me into DKA was the white blood count that was so high because of my raging infection that I didn't even know I had. My neighbor is playing music really, really loud, doing some yard work. I hope you're not hearing that. So it was a big fat disappointment to all of them, all because of an infection that I didn't even know I had. I mean, my blood count was 70,000, and no matter how many bags of antibiotics, it just wasn't getting better. It wasn't getting better. When we finally arrived in the port of Miami, I was taken off the ship Priority by ambulance to the University of Miami Hospital, and my daughter had driven all night. My poor daughter is driving all through the night, 5 hours to Miami to meet the ship at the port. She gets there, and she meets up with the customs security and gets all of our luggage off the ship. And they take Doreen and I to the hospital. They put Doreen in the front seat of the ambulance, and of course the other, you know, paramedic is in the back with me, and one's driving. So my friend Doreen thought that was pretty cool that she got to drive through Miami in the front seat of an ambulance. And then my daughter met us at the hospital. You know, now at this hospital, they are doing all the start over. They are doing blood gases again. If you've ever had that, it's very painful. They are doing potassium and drips and the whole thing, and evaluating and testing and monitoring and all that. So at this point, my bestie says, well, my daughter says, let's go get something to eat and I'll take you to the train, because me and my bestie took Brightline, the train, to the Miami port, and now we were going to take the train home, but I'm not, because I'm sick and I'm probably going to be in this stupid hospital in Miami. So my daughter had packed a bag, drove all night. She's going to stay in Miami with me, and my friend's going to take the train all by herself home, and her daughter is now going to pick her up in Orlando at the other end, and that will take her 3 hours and she'll be home. So my daughter takes them out, they go to eat, and then they go to the train. And while they are out to eat, it's like I don't know what time I don't even know, but at this point my daughter and her are still out getting something to eat, and then they're gonna go to the train. And I call my daughter and I said, it looks like I'm gonna be discharged today. So they're like, wow, that's good, because we planned on me being stuck in that hospital, and we didn't know how long, you know. So, but my friend still decides, well, she's going to go home because it's already prearranged that her daughter is going to pick her up in Orlando. So she just goes and takes the train home for 3 hours, and then she'll be home. And so my daughter brings her to the train, and she leaves her off at the train, and she comes back to the hospital. And I was evaluated, treated, and released. And I had a doctor's appointment the very next day, which would have been the 29th, with my own doctor, my family doctor. And so, and that was at 11:30 the next day. So they said I was stable enough to go home, and they released me. And so they released me at 10:30 in the morning. So my daughter and I go get into her car. She gives me, she gives me my phone. She sets it up on Facebook and says, Mom, I want you to see this. And she showed me all the people praying for me, and I just cried. I cried because there were people on there that I hardly even talked to. There were people. She was showing me messages that, like the lady that owns my booth, she was praying and writing to my daughter, you know, what can I do? Do you want me to take your son? You know, can I make you some food and bring it over? You know, what can we do for your mom? There were people from grammar school praying, and people coming out of the woodwork. And I know, I'm sorry, I know, in my knower, it just humbled me. It It really humbles me because I didn't know I mattered. I know I matter to my friends and family, right? You know you're loved and your friends and family love you, and I felt love, and now the lawn man is here, but you know, I just was so humbled that so many people cared, and it just humbles me. I don't know what else to say. I'm just so humbled. I'm so humbled, and if you were one of my prayer warriors, thank you so much, because your prayers worked. And if you were not one of my prayer warriors this week, maybe you're not a believer, I want you to know that my friends that were with me, they insist they witnessed a miracle. I paused it for a minute because the lawn man was right next to my window. My friends know they saw a miracle, and one of my friends actually told me that she needed this, and she needed to see God work in my life to believe that He could do the same in her life. So I don't know why this happened. I don't know why I worked so hard for a cruise for 15 months. I made shirts, I made gift bags, I made door decorations. I worked so hard for this cruise, and I was looking so forward to this cruise. But I don't know why. I don't know why, but maybe it was so that my friends could see Jesus. I don't know. I will never know. I will never know why this happened. And I want to redo, but I don't ever want to go on a Carnival cruise again. Ever. 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 I'm not going to say I'll never go on a cruise again, but I will never go on Carnival. I will never go on Carnival again. I was looking forward to going up, you know, I was a gold. I want to go climb up and be platinum, you know, but I won't, because I will never, ever, ever go on Carnival again. And that is not because I got sick, because it has nothing to do with Carnival. I did not get food poisoning. I had an infection I didn't know about, and it made me very ill. But Carnival kept me alive. And at that, I will be forever grateful. I will be forever grateful for the doctors and nurses on the Carnival Magic. And they're not always on the Carnival Magic. They have to go work on other ships. So you hopefully will never have to run into them. But Carnival has gone downhill. The ship was in disarray. The food was terrible. The choice of food was terrible. The guest services was horrible. We paid for the hub, never got to use it. It never worked. We all paid for the hub, which is like a Carnival thing so that you can use your phone on airplane mode but still text your friends and stuff. So if you're separated, never worked. Never ever worked. I kept going down. My friend kept going down. Fix our phones. The hub's not working. You'd leave them. They wouldn't work again. It was terrible. there was broken, everything was broken on the ship. It was bad. It was bad. I feel like $18 for 12 bottles of water. I feel like we were raped. $8 for a stupid salad with a little tiny piece of chicken for room service that I ended up vomiting. Everything I ate there, I ended up vomiting. But that wasn't their fault. I'm not saying I was sick because of Carnival. Please know, I did not get sick because of Carnival. This is separate issue. This is a totally separate issue. I was very, very disappointed in Carnival, especially in that ship. I have seen some beautiful Carnival cruise ships. The Carnival Magic was ugly. Ugly. I think that needs to be put to sleep, that ship. That ship is done. The stabilizers are broken. So at the very end, when I'm in ICU in the infirmary, we hit a storm. The last sea day coming home to Miami, we hit a storm. So now you thought it was rocky on smooth water. Now I'm in the infirmary and ICU, and it's really rocky, rocky, rocky. I mean, it was just an experience, and I kept just counting the days. Okay, I have 3 more days till I can get off this ship. I have 2 more days, and then I can get off this. 1 more sea day, and I can get off this ship. I remember just thinking, Lord, get me through this, and I will never go on another Carnival ship. I just can't do it. I can't do it. So my daughter and I hit the road in Miami now. She drove all through the night now, hasn't had any sleep. She drove all anxious. Her mother is really, really sick, close to death. She stressed to the max. She gets me. She's now getting me back home. Hasn't slept. We're driving. I'm sleepy. And, you know, finally I wake up and I'm like halfway home. We're in a place called Yeehar Junction. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very, very weak, but you know, I'm not sick to my stomach or anything. And my daughter stops to get gas at this gas station, and the food they were cooking wafts out as I'm sitting with my window now while she's getting gas. And let me tell you, I have not wanted to eat for 8 days, right? Well, 6, let's say, at least. And they've been trying to force me to eat. I can't eat. Now the weed whacker. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I'm too tired to do this over. Anyways, my daughter had asked all the way home, do you want this? Do you want to eat? You want to drink? No, 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 no. Now she comes out of this gas station with this 2 pieces of chicken in this little old gas station, but the food smelled so good. And she comes out, and I actually, long story short, I'm like, no, I don't want any, no, I don't want any. And it's sitting in this little styrofoam container between our seats. My daughter has a big Suburban or something, and it's sitting here, and it smells so good. I finally open the container and break off a little piece of it, and I put it in my mouth, and it was the best chicken I have ever had in my life. This little gas station chicken, oh my gosh. So I said, oh my gosh, Lindsay, you have to take a piece. And she does. She goes, oh my God, that is so good. And we both nibbled on it. I only did little tiny bits at a time, because you have to remember, I haven't had food in my belly for 6 days. So Anyway, by the time we're there, I said to her, where are we anyway? And she said, we're in Osceola County. We're in Lake Wales. And I said, what time is it? We were going to be home before my bestie. We left Miami at 10:30. My bestie was sitting at the train station waiting for her train to leave at like 11:30 or 11:45. So we were already a couple of hours towards home before my bestie even got on her train for her 3-hour flight, her 3-hour train ride. So now I said, oh my gosh, we're going to be home before Doreen. And we actually made it home before Doreen. It was kind of a funny thing because Doreen got home and was like, oh my gosh, like, how did that even happen? How did you get home before me? But it just happened that she took a 3-hour train ride to Orlando a couple of hours after we left, and then she had another hour, about 45-minute ride home from Orlando to our house. So, and my daughter drives really fast. So we actually made it home, and I went to the doctor's the next day, and he couldn't believe what I had been through. And I've been going through more, urine specimen testing and all that. So I had to finish out antibiotics and little by little, but I lost 20 pounds of muscle, and I am very, very weak still. The littlest thing I do, take a shower, that's my day. Make my bed, I gotta sit after that and recuperate. So crafting, and I don't see me crafting. I'm going to try because it's my therapy. I love to craft. But my brain is a DKA brain right now, and it doesn't function like it used to. I know it will come back because I was in DKA 6 years ago with my back surgery and almost died again. I was in a coma. They weren't as smart at the hospital as Dr. Franco was. Dr. Franco kept me from going in a coma. But Zephyr Hills Hospital didn't do that. Anyway, so I am not sure right now that I could even run around all week and do Dollar Tree hauls and Follow Me Fridays. So I am going to just promise you that I'm working on things. I am going to try to at least do maybe one video with a craft a week and start there. And then as I get better and stronger every day, which I am getting stronger. It's slow and steady. I had one day where I took my car to the pharmacy and my battery died, and I was out in 90-degree heat, and I was probably only in it for 35 minutes. But when I got home, I had to go to bed. I was in bed for the day. It doesn't take much. I'm very weak. So, gathering my strength will be my biggest priority. I have had some of you call me, and I am just not up for conversation yet. But I'm getting there. And I also have had people that haven't called me that I thought would definitely be there for me that haven't been. So I really know where I really am humbled am so humbled. Jesus, really, I feel like I don't even know how to put it into words, probably because of DKA brain, but I feel like I don't want to say I didn't deserve everybody's prayers. It's a shock. It was a shock to my system when my daughter put my phone on and I saw these prayers. I'm talking people from doctors' offices that were just an acquaintance, and they're on my page saying, where are my prayer warriors? I need my prayer warriors. People I barely knew, and people I know very well too. And it just brought me to my knees, in a literal sense of the word. It just brought me to my knees that I mattered to so many people. I just didn't realize that I was touching the lives of so many people. I didn't know that. I did not realize that. I did not realize that. So it humbled me. It really, really humbled me. And yeah, it was quite the experience. I will never understand why it happened. I will never understand why it happened, but I will tell you that at least one of my friends told me during this that I needed to see Jesus work in your life. You always told me Jesus works in your life, but I needed to see it with my own eyes, that I definitely saw a miracle. I definitely saw a miracle. And I have to say, maybe if it just brought one person to the Lord, then I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad it happened to me and not anybody else, because the Lord was with me. So that is what has happened in my life on my cruise. Shocking is not even, like, can you believe it? Like, here I am going on my cruise. I was the healthy one in the bunch. I was the healthy one. My friend was on a walker. One of my friends broke her ankle a year ago. I guess Kimmy was healthy, but I was like the one that was going to be healthy, and my doctor set me up so that nothing could go wrong. The one thing that we never thought of was a UTI, and he said there was no reason, there's nothing he could have done even to make sure, I don't know what the words are, that I didn't get a UTI, because a UTI, all UTIs, I guess, are different, and it depends on the bacteria of that infection is how you treat that. So you can't treat a UTI without testing for the bacteria. So it's not like he could have covered that even. Just one of those things that, unfortunately, I'm one of those people that never have, I don't get them. I don't get them. But once or twice in my life, I've been, at a checkup, and they would say, does it burn when you urinate? And I would say, no. And they'd say, because you have a UTI. And I'd be like, never have symptoms. And I'm finding out that's a common occurrence. So if you are someone that never gets symptoms like me, my doctor recommended azo strips, that you keep them at home, and so you test it just regularly, just to make sure you're not in that state, because it can really wreak havoc. I mean, it makes you neurologically, you're not right. You're sick. You can just, you can die from a UTI. You can die from sepsis, you can die from tachycardia, and you can die from DKA. And I was in all of those things. So yeah, Jesus was with me, and my friends witnessed a miracle. And I'm always telling people that Jesus is the one in my life that gives me my miracles, always. So that was my cruise, and I hope that if you go on any Carnival cruises, I know Terry Ann, I don't know if you're going to see this because you're going on a Carnival cruise, but I want you to have the best Carnival cruise that you can have. Hopefully you're not going on the Magic. It's really poorly. But I want you, Terry Ann, to have the best cruise that you can have with Carnival. And speak up and tell the people, I want real eggs. The only time you can get real eggs is if you wait in an hour line to get an omelet. What the heck is with that? Why can't you give me an egg for breakfast? A real egg, not powdered eggs. Give me a real egg, for crying out loud. Give me a banana all through my 8 days. If I want to go get a banana, and I should be able to find a banana after the second day of a cruise. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anyway, if you're going on one like Terry Ann, you have the best time. You make the best of it. And please don't get sick, and just have the greatest cruise. And don't be afraid of cruising because of this story. This had nothing to do with Carnival. It had everything to do with just an infection I didn't know I had. And what a shame. What an absolute shame. My bestie didn't get to go off on any of her ports. My other two friends did get to go off in St. Martin, St. Thomas, San Juan, and Grand Turks, and they did see some things, and I got to see all their pictures and live my life for my cruise through them. And here they had donkeys on Grand Turks and dogs and all kinds of fun things. So I'm glad that they got a little bit of their cruise. But my bestie never left my side. She wouldn't leave my side. She would not go off the ship for nothing. She barely would go get something to eat and come back. So that was my experience. And maybe next time I will take a short cruise on a different cruise company, but I will never go on Carnival again. I don't think that the money that they charged me for this cruise, I feel like we were raped. I do. I feel like they should be embarrassed that their meats and cheeses were see-through. They're so thin, they stuck to the plate. Couldn't even get them off. See-through. And I am, again, no exaggeration, as God is my witness. No exaggeration. Terry Ann, you tell me when you come back. I want to know if I don't think you're going on the Magic. Maybe every ship is different. But the Carnival Magic was horrible. That's going to do it for this part 2, and I appreciate every single one of you praying for me, and just for putting up with the lawn man and all the music and all the things in this video. Please be patient with me. I am working on a craft idea. It's gonna be slow. I know that my YouTube has taken a dump. The algorithm, I'm sure it's bad, but that's okay. I am going to keep plugging away. I missed you guys. You guys talk to me in the comments, and I love you. We've all gotten to know each other. Karen, Stacy, Terry Ann, who's going on a Carnival cruise in a couple of days. I know there's so many Glorias. I have a few Glorias. You know, just thank you. All of you are on my Facebook and praying for me, and it's just amazing. Just amazing. Until I see you again, and I don't know when, I'm not going to tell you a day because I just don't know. I could start out that day and crashed. I do well in the morning, and about noon I start to go downhill. I've taken a nap every day, and I am not a napper. I hate naps. I can't do it without a nap. I have to go lay down. I'm very impatient about it. I'm waiting to get more stamina. You know, I feel good. I'm not sick, but my body just can't do anything. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you very soon for probably a quick craft, but I will see you soon for one. Just be on the lookout. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell. If you hit the bell, YouTube will let you know each and every time I upload a new video. So if you hit the bell, you'll find out when I am back again. Until then, be good and do good. And one last goodbye to all my friends in the infirmary. I love each and every one of you. I wanted to send you guys something, and I have to find out how I can get mail to you guys. Maybe you could tell me in the comments, Dr. Franco, Dr. Nalia, Ron, Cherry, I don't know how you say it, I even Googled it to try to get the right name. Melanie and Brian, if I can get mail to you guys, will you let me know in the comments, and in the description under every one of my videos is my email. You can email me, so it's more private that way if you want, but I have something I want to get to you guys. All right, until I see you again, be good and do good. Bye now.